I have the great privilege of planning surprise acts of kindness for a living. We do this through a nomination process. And once upon a time in 2016, we received the nomination from a woman named Catherine. Now, Catherine had nominated her parents, Janie and John. She did so because her father had early onset Alzheimer's, and at 62 years old, was already forgetting his daughter's names. So after 19 days of planning, we surprised Janie and John with an opportunity to renew their vows. And because this was for a TV show, we couldn't help ourselves. So we got Janie out of the house for a few hours, leaving us a dramatically short window of time to set up the big surprise in her backyard. So that when Janie came home, this would happen.
Curtain is closed, so Janie is walking up any second now. John is a handsome devil over there. You feeling okay? Right around there. Here we go, here we go.
I'm Lisa, and this is my good friend Will, and we're from a TV show called Random Acts, where we do random acts of kindness.
And what we decided to do was create a celebration for you so that you can renew your wedding vows with John today.
I have never been so shocked in my life. No, I really haven't.
Now this was from a TV show, season 1 of Random Acts. I'm a producer on the show, and to date have helped produce 81 episodes, 81 acts of kindness. So why, out of all of those, did I dig all the way back to season 1 to share that one with you? It's because this story had a bit of an encore, a happy consequence. A week after we were done filming, I received an email from Catherine. She confided in me that prior to filming this episode, there had been a terrible feud between the sisters, and one of the sisters had not seen or spoken to the family in over 2 years. But through the process of coming and helping us plan the surprise, they ended up forgiving each other. But why? Why would just helping us set up a tent in the backyard and getting mom out of the house for a few hours bring about the forgiveness? Well, the answer is kindness. Because they came together to do something kind for someone else with no expectation of anything in return, they found the forgiveness they so desperately needed. And it's a good thing too, because just 4 years later, their father passed away. 4 years that could have been squandered on a feud were instead spent together as a whole family. I will never forget this family. Now, Random Acts is a show about doing and promoting acts of kindness. And I've produced all those 81 episodes very comfortably behind the camera. I do not yearn for opportunities to be in front of the camera or on a stage in front of people. And yet, somehow, both of those terrible things are happening at the same time right now to me. But I accept this great suffering for one reason. I believe in kindness, and I want more people, more of you, to do it. So even if one of you does an act of kindness that you might not have otherwise done, then me standing up here is a victory, so please don't let me down on that. Over those 81 episodes, what I am continually impressed by is that the vast majority of people want to be kind. And when given the opportunity, they usually are. Now, I bet most of you think that you are kind, but I would argue that you are maybe instead courteous. You say your please and thank yous, you smile when someone smiles at you. And yes, courtesy is a form of kindness, but it's not what I'm talking about. It's not what I believe will change the world. To do that, we must all become proactively kind. Now, what do I mean by that? Just as it sounds, that we will decide to be kind beforehand. We won't wait for opportunities to come to us. We will seek them out. Or better yet, we will create our own opportunities to be kind. These can come in many forms. Perhaps tomorrow you wake up and say, I will smile at every human I see today. Whether or not they smile back, I will initiate all of the smiling. But Tom, can a smile really make a difference? It's a fair question. The answer is yes. I have a story to prove it, but you're going to have to wait a few minutes. I'll get there eventually. Another thing could be as simple as the grocery store. You could decide that every time I'm in line at the grocery store, I will not be on my phone. I will instead talk to the person next to me, smile at them, or be that listening ear you don't even know how badly they need, or ask that struggling mother, can I help you get these groceries to your car? You never know what the smallest thing can do. The good news about kindness is that it's like weight training. Through practice, through exercise, you can strengthen your kindness muscle, and science backs me up on that. I'm not just saying it because it sounds good. It does sound good, but it's also true. And speaking of science, will you indulge me on a few more bits of kindness science? When it comes to kindness, I can preach it all day long to you up here, but the science of it all is just wow. Apparently our bodies have been built to just light up in all the best ways when we insert a little coin of kindness. One example, kindness makes you feel good, chemically. How does it do that? When you are kind, it increases the production of dopamine. This is a word I feel like we throw around a lot these days. But what is it really? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that contributes to motivation, focus, happiness, and it lights up the pleasure and reward center of your brain. I witnessed this happen just this last Christmas season. I was out with my 9-year-old son delivering some gifts to some of our neighbors. As we were just about done, leaving one of the homes, my son turned to me and said, "Dad, I love doing this. I feel so good right now." He was experiencing what scientists call the helper's high. He was getting that little boost of dopamine. But why? We were doing the kind act for someone else. Why was he feeling like that? Well, this is one of my favorite parts about kindness. When you do something kind, both of you get the benefit, the giver and the receiver, just like my son did. All right, is anyone feeling stressed in here? I know I am. Last week, yesterday, this morning, currently. Lucky for us, kindness lowers stress. How does it do that? Well, a study has shown that perpetually kind people have 23% less cortisol in their bodies. Now, cortisol is commonly known as the stress hormone. When you have elevated levels, you have elevated stress. So don't let this just go in and out, because 23%, that's a big number when it comes to something in your body. And 23% less of it can have a massive impact on how you feel. So, want to lower some stress? Let's go back to the grocery store. This time, just wait in the parking lot till someone's almost done loading up their groceries and appear. May I take this cart back for you? It sounds simple, I know, but we got dopamine on the rise, stress is lowering, and now you have a cart. So if you decide to do some shopping, remember when you're inside, maybe stay off your phone in line. Maybe you could knock out 2 acts of kindness during one trip to the grocery store. Another study at the University of Oxford has revealed that it does not matter if you know the person or not. Friend, stranger, family member, some random person in the grocery store. The benefits are the same. The same study has revealed this, that when you do an act of kindness, as discussed, we got happiness on the rise, stress is lowering, and this is for the giver, the receiver, but also the observer. Even if someone sees you do something kind, they're getting those same healthy benefits. And in case that's not cool enough, another study has shown that kindness is contagious. So if someone sees you do something nice at the grocery store, they are now, well, first of all, getting a nice little dopamine boost. But second, they're literally more likely to go out and do something kind themselves. You have started a little chain reaction. One of the ways that I like to practice proactive kindness is with birthdays. I love wishing people happy birthday. My calendar is littered with birthdays. And when it comes to the big day, you got to be prepared. If you want a card in the mailbox or a present wrapped, you have to think beforehand. I mean, should we give it a go? I think we should. Is anyone's birthday here today? That would have been too easy. I was prepared for that. What about tomorrow, the next couple days? The next week? The rest of the month? Statistically, we have got to be close. All right. Who's raising? I know, no, there's no finger pointing. Someone has to raise their hand because they have to to be willing. Oh, yes. Would you mind telling us your name? Abby. Abby. You don't know me. I don't know you. When's your birthday? February 23rd. I hope you have a phenomenal birthday. I really do. Happy birthday, Abby. In fact, I couldn't help myself, and I got you a gift. Happy birthday. Let's go. So did you feel it? You just witnessed me do a little act of kindness, and it was genuine because, one, I genuinely hope that Abby has the best birthday she's ever had. And two, I love wishing people happy birthday. So did you feel it? That little spike in dopamine? Do you now feel just a little bit more of a desire to go do an act of kindness yourself? These effects, they won't last. If you want them to last, you have to be a person who perpetually practices proactive kindness. I really wish kindness started with a P. I love kindness. I love all the effects. One of my favorite are the smiles. When you do kind things, you get the best smiles. You can change a community, a family, or even a single stranger's life. But Tom, these smiles are the result of big acts of kindness on a TV show. That's fair. So can my small acts of kindness really make a difference in someone's life? Also, a very fair question. The answer, as I promised before, is yes. The smallest acts, even a smile, can make a difference. Years ago, I had the opportunity to do some filming with a woman named Pamela Atkinson. She's an advocate for the homeless, and she is incredible. The story she told me has been bouncing around my brain ever since. Moons ago, she put on a Christmas steak dinner for the homeless. As people came in, she would shake their hands, say hello, and send them on their way. That was that. Well, 3 weeks later, a man came back to the same soup kitchen, and Pamela was there again. We will call this man Mike. Mike came up to Pamela and said this: "You don't know me, but I came to your steak dinner 3 weeks ago. When I arrived, you shook my hand, you looked at me, you smiled at me, and then you sent me off to get my meal. What you don't know is that people on the street, they never look at me, and they certainly never smile at me. They just avert their eyes and rush on by. And your handshake? Your handshake was the first time that another human being had physically touched me in over a year. I was planning on killing myself the night of that steak dinner. I was going to have my last meal. I was going to go get very drunk and lay down across the train tracks and say goodbye to this world. But because of you, I thought I can give life a try for a little bit longer. The smallest acts of kindness saved Mike's life. Other kind people helped him get into a home and then get a job. A touch, a look, a smile saved a man's life. Kindness is a power that we all have. Please do not treat that power lightly, because the act of kindness you do tomorrow could save that person's life, or it could save your own. So please, oh please, practice proactive kindness. Thank you.